The ancient opera house, a monument meticulously resurrected by his own funding and Tong Liya's tireless expertise, usually resonated with a quiet dignity. Tonight, however, it screamed, not with sound, but with the unseen agony of Jerry Yan's soul. He stood alone on the restored stage, the velvet seats ghostly shadows in the dim light, the gilded arches around him seeming to mock his internal turmoil. His heightened senses, a legacy of his family's unique empathic lineage, made his hidden pain a vivid, inescapable reality. Every regret, every past failure, every moment of betrayal he had ever endured, pulsed around him, not as mere memories, but as tangible, shimmering auras of despair, clinging to the very air, weighing him down. Tong Liya, with her boundless empathy and radiant spirit, was unknowingly the catalyst. Her presence, her unwavering belief in the beauty of restoration, had begun to chip away at the formidable walls Jerry had built around his heart. He felt her growing affection for him, a warm, golden current that sought to penetrate his defenses. And every time it did, his internal demons roared louder, fearing exposure. One evening, as they were finalizing the stage lighting for the grand gala, Liya reached out, her hand gently brushing his as she pointed to a delicate fresco. A jolt, a profound sense of warmth and genuine care, shot through Jerry. For a fleeting second, the frescoes on the ceiling didn't just show painted figures. They came alive, shimmering with a sudden, unbearable clarity of past betrayals. He saw the faces of those who had let him down, their expressions contorted into caricatures of deceit, their whispered promises echoing in his mind like a discordant symphony. The opera house, usually a repository of beautiful memories, had become a terrifying mirror of his deepest wounds, a mind-blowing manifestation of his inner conflict triggered by Liya's innocent touch. He recoiled, his hand snatching away as if burned. "No," he muttered, his voice hoarse, turning his back to her, unable to meet her gaze. The beautiful fresco, to his eyes, was now a swirling vortex of his past hurts, magnified and made painfully real. Liya, ever perceptive, felt the sudden withdrawal, the invisible barrier that slammed shut between them. Her empathy picked up not anger, but a profound, almost paralyzing fear emanating from him. She knew it wasn't about her. The closer Liya tried to get, the more Jerry pushed her away. His internal struggle, a silent war of self-worth, began to manifest physically. He found himself unable to stay in one place, pacing endlessly in the vast, empty halls of the opera house. As he walked, the very floor beneath his feet began to respond to his turmoil. Cracks, not physical but existential, spiderwebbed across the ancient wood, shimmering with a dull, gray light. With every step, a faint, rhythmic thump-thump echoed, not from the floor, but from deep within Jerry's chest, the sound of his own heart, heavy with self-doubt and fear of connection. The opera house, once his sanctuary, became a vast, echoing prison of his own making, its structure visibly warped by the weight of his unaccepted love, a mind-blowing illustration of his internal brokenness. Liya, witnessing these subtle yet terrifying distortions, felt a deep ache in her heart. She saw the cracks in the floor, felt the pervasive sadness that bled from the walls, heard the faint, discordant rhythm of his pain. But she didn't back down. She knew, with an empathic certainty, that this was not rejection, but a desperate cry for help. One night, after days of this agonizing dance, Jerry found himself on the precipice. He stood on the edge of the stage, the newly manifested cracks in the floor extending like gaping chasms towards him, pulsing with an inky blackness that whispered of despair. The shimmering auras of past hurts converged, pressing in, threatening to swallow him whole. His senses screamed with the magnified echoes of 1,000 failures, 100 betrayals. He was at the brink, ready to surrender to the void, ready to give up on the hope Liya represented. Then, Tong Liya stepped onto the stage. She walked towards him, her footsteps light, unwavering, through the cracks and the swirling darkness that pulsed around him. Her face was serene, her eyes filled with a boundless love that seemed to cut through the oppressive gloom. She reached him, and without a word, took his hand. Her touch was not just warm. It was a pure, radiant force that surged through him, bypassing all his defenses, going straight to the core of his pain. "I see you, Jerry," she whispered. Her voice a soft, melodic current that resonated directly in his soul, banishing the discordant echoes. "All of you, and I love every part." As her words of acceptance flowed into him, a monumental, mind-blowing transformation erupted. The inky black chasms in the stage floor didn't just close. They shimmered, and from their depths, 1,000 delicate, luminous roots of pure, vibrant light began to grow. These roots, pulsing with emerald green and golden hues, intertwined, weaving themselves back into the fabric of the stage, healing the cracks, not just physically, but spiritually. The oppressive auras of past hurts shattered, dissolving into shimmering motes of light that danced around them like benevolent fireflies. The entire opera house, which had been warped by his pain, pulsed with a powerful, benevolent energy, its gilded arches glowing, its velvet seats radiating warmth. And then, the ultimate mind-blowing scene. From the very spot where Jerry and Leah stood, their hands clasped, a magnificent, towering tree of pure, crystalline light began to grow. Its branches reached towards the now shimmering ceiling, its leaves rustling with a harmonious symphony of peace. This wasn't just a symbol. It was a living, breathing testament to the healing power of their combined love. The tree pulsed, and from its core, every single one of Jerry's past hurts, once a source of agonizing echoes, was now visible, not as pain, but as a single luminous, perfectly formed crystal embedded within its branches, shimmering with a gentle, forgiving light. Each crystal held the memory, but its sharp edges were gone, smoothed by acceptance, transformed into beautiful, invaluable facets of his journey. His pain was not erased. It was transformed, becoming a source of profound strength and radiant beauty. Jerry gasped, tears streaming down his face, not of despair, but of overwhelming, joyous liberation. He looked at Leah, his eyes now clear, utterly free from the shadows that had haunted him for so long. He saw her not just as a colleague, but as his savior, his anchor, the boundless love that had healed his deepest wounds. The opera house, once a mirror of his brokenness, was now a shining testament to his resilience, and their love, which had almost been extinguished by his hidden pain, was now a radiant, unstoppable force, forever woven into the fabric of a world they had just healed. The majestic tree of pure, crystalline light stood at the center of the restored opera house stage, its branches reaching for the rafters like arms embracing the heavens. Jerry Yen and Tong Liya stood at its base, their hands still clasped, their eyes fixed on the magnificent sight. Each one of Jerry's past hurts, once a source of agonizing echoes, was now a single luminous, perfectly formed crystal embedded within its branches. They pulsed with a gentle, forgiving light, their sharp edges gone, transformed into beautiful, invaluable facets of his journey. The profound, mind-blowing act of healing had not only saved him but had created a living, tangible monument to resilience. Leah's eyes welled with tears as she looked at him, no longer seeing the shadows that had haunted him for so long, but the radiant, whole person he had become. Jerry, in turn, felt a liberating lightness he hadn't known existed. His senses, once a curse that amplified his pain, were now a boundless wellspring of joy and clarity. He could feel the peaceful hum of the opera house, a choir of harmonious notes now, and the vibrant life force of the tree they had created. The full weight of their public act became apparent when the opera house doors were opened for the gala. People streamed in, their faces a mixture of confusion and awe. Word of the impossible tree had spread like wildfire. As they entered, a profound, serene energy washed over them. The air itself felt clean, imbued with a benevolent peace. People with hidden burdens, with sorrows they carried silently, found themselves drawn to the tree. Without a word, a young woman with the visible, spectral weight of a broken heart around her shoulders hesitantly approached the tree's base and placed a hand on its glowing trunk. ### the echoes of healing. A mind-blowing phenomenon erupted the moment she made contact. The shimmering aura of her pain, a faint, wispy cloud of gray and red, didn't just disappear. It was actively drawn from her and absorbed by the tree. As it did, the tree's light intensified, and the absorbed pain, to Jerry and Leah's eyes, was transformed into a cascade of vibrant, multicolored shards of light that fell silently from the branches, like a shower of benevolent energy. The young woman gasped, her tears not of sorrow, but of profound, cleansing relief. A smile, genuine and radiant, spread across her face. This wasn't a magic trick. It was a conscious, benevolent act of healing, a public demonstration of their love as a force for good. Jerry and Leah, their hands clasped, understood their new purpose. The opera house was not just a monument to their love, but a sanctuary for the world's pain. They stood at the tree's base for hours, their joined hands serving as a conduit, a mind-blowing amplifier for the tree's healing power. Person after person came forward, touching the tree, and each time, their pain was absorbed and transformed into beautiful, silent, shimmering showers of light. Jerry's senses, once a source of agony, now allowed him to perceive each person's unique pain as a distinct, discordant note, which Leah's empathy then harmonized into a beautiful, mind-blowing melody of healing. ##the final act of acceptance. Despite the profound healing, a single, deep-seated ache remained within Jerry. It was not a grand betrayal or a public failure, but a quiet, deeply personal hurt from his past that he had never fully forgiven himself for. This pain was not in the tree. It was a lingering shadow in his soul. He knew that for his own healing to be complete, he had to face it. That night, after the crowds had left, he and Leah stood alone beneath the glowing branches of the tree. Jerry closed his eyes, and with Leah's hand in his, he allowed himself to feel that last, lingering pain. It manifested not as a swirling aura or a discordant note, but as a single, inky black thread of despair, so thin it was barely perceptible, yet so strong it tethered him to his past. He knew if he pulled at it, it would tear his newly healed soul apart. "I can't," he whispered, his voice trembling. "I can't let this one go." "You don't have to let it go," Leah replied, her voice a soft, loving current. "You just have to transform it. Let me help." With their joined hands, they channeled their combined love, focusing all their energy on that single thread. Instead of trying to cut it, they began to weave. Their love, a vibrant, multicolored force, spun around the black thread, intertwining with it, braiding it with 1,000 brilliant hues. The thread didn't break. It didn't disappear. It became a beautiful, complex, and intricate tapestry of light, a mind-blowing, tangible representation of the fact that even the most profound pain could be incorporated into a beautiful story, transformed by love into a source of immense strength. The thread, now a magnificent tapestry, pulled free from Jerry's soul. It didn't dissolve. It flew to the tree, weaving itself into its central trunk, a new, radiant core that pulsed with an unshakable resilience. His healing was complete. The opera house was no longer just a place of performance. It was a sanctuary of emotional healing, a public testament to the power of a love that could not only restore what was broken, but also transform it into something infinitely more beautiful. Jerry and Leah's love, born from a desperate midnight call, was now a living legend, a profound, benevolent force forever woven into the fabric of the world.